Hey everybody, it's Bus, continuing our playthrough of the Path of Champions. Today, we're going to be doing battle with the 2-star quest, the Master of Shadows, going up against Zed with our 1-star Ornn. And so, to take a quick peek at our Ornn, if you're not familiar with the star power, down here at star power 1, we get to start the game with Ornn's Forge on the battlefield. In terms of our champion level, only level 7, not too far along, and for our relic, we are using the Star Child's Staff. The thing that I think we typically run into with the Ornn decks is that we can all agree the late game is perfectly fine, right? You have no problems closing out games with Bone Clubs or Ornn himself, but it's that early game to where your units are pretty bad, and then more so the interactivity, which is completely awful. And so whenever I play Ornn, I like to focus pretty heavily on interactivity and early game play, but in case things don't come together exactly how we want, we have the Star Child staff to give us a little bit of heal, clean up some of that incidental damage, help us get through to some additional items or additional cards, help us find that interactivity or early game that we're looking for. And so that is it. Ornn, ready for battle? Let's see if we can click on the adventure and give it a good go. Give it a nice run. Give it a best effort. Running through the map. What up, Fiora in the middle? Zed at the end. And the power is coming on up. Let's see. Something cool to build around, I'm sure. And so, we can't take the craftsman's favor. Create the fleeting time and dedications in hand. We're already creating one of these every turn, right? That's what our Ornn star power does. And so, not super interested in this. The other options here are disarmed. Kind of interesting in that Zed's power is his attacking units get +1 attack, and so if we can kind of negate that on the attack and then strength or weaken our opponents even more on our offense, that's kind of interesting. And then the Trifarian Might, it is one of the more high-powered powers, but our deck isn't super well adjusted to dealing with the Trifarian Might. We have a lot of strong units once they're already on board, but we don't have a good way to make the units big while they're in our hand, right? We're trying to focus on making units strong with the likes of the Forge abilities or putting big equipments on it. We're not playing big units right up front. And so I do love a Trifarian Might. I just don't think it's going to be strong here. I'm going to go with Disarmed as a nice defensive measure to help us control the game for a bit, get ourselves into the late game. And so, up against the Sparring Student, when a unit is summoned, give its weakest ally +1/+1 this round. Got it, friend. Karate chop that pottery. you don't find any relics within the Ionian ruins. There's no ancient pottery in Ionia. Just the sparring student went and broke it all. What a rough life. All right, we can throw down units, I guess. I'm curious if we shouldn't have just like held the mana so that we can make a better Ruthless Raider this turn. We'll see. We'll see. We needed a sorcery, or we needed a way to generate some mana to really take advantage of these time and dedications. We could play a little bit off curve now. We'll get the physical time and dedication in our hand, and we can look to maybe save up the mana for our combat cook next turn. Maybe not. This is a little scary with the 4-power sparring student. Let's see if we can dissuade them from attacking. Nope. I didn't realize he was... I got a little bamboozled. I forgot that he was going to get his bonus once he put the units onto the board. But not a ton of damage coming through, and we're about to achieve greatness with our large units here. What do we got? We'll take the Pot of Pain. I'm fine with that. Be a little bit more defensive. As time goes on, we should be strengthening up. All right, well, I guess I'll accept a trade with the sparring student if that's what he wants to do. Make a sad noise. We got to get rid of that guy eventually, right? It's not being particularly nice to us today. Alright, just get some dudes down. Prevent all of the damage. Once this deck is given a little bit of time, we can... he can't add units to the board anymore. If he can't add units to the board, he can't grow his coastal defenders and the like, and we'll just start to take over. Opponent's not happy with his play. Throw a little Nasus at him. What do we got? Probably looking to Bone Club this turn. I don't think we're going to be able to lethal, but we can make a big bro out here. Don't bring in the big bros at us. All right, maybe on our next attack token, right? How many times do we have to say it? Sown Seeds, very good on turn 7. Not true. That was a false statement I just made. All right, there's big ol' Ornn. We already had a 10 power bro get a strike in. He gets the big weapon now. Gonna get to swing with that nasty ram next turn. Sounds good to me. All right, I'm ready to get the open attack into greatness. Go big. Go big, Ornn. Oh, didn't mean to catalyst to the Aeons, but why not? Get a little bit of heal before the next round. Get this 13-13 ram. Feels good. Not bad. Get that 15-15 ram out here. A little bit better. A little bit stronger. Cool. Victory is ours. Let's see what sweet champions we can add to this deck. Okay, so Assistant Librarian, always decent in these weapon-based decks, right? The weapons give you lots of opportunity to activate Fated, but with our deck and all the time and dedications in addition to the weapons should make the Assistant Librarian exceptionally strong. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. This is a nice build-around card that we can add. Good early game play. Now I just feel like we need to pick up interactivity, and so we need to get some kind of removal spell. I don't care what it is. We just have to have a vengeance, a disintegrate, something to where we can pick and choose which of our opponent's units we want to interact with. And here, Poison Dart doesn't quite fit the bill. We could make this work with Sonic Wave, though. I'm not really excited about adding Lee Sin into a big, expensive deck like this, right? Because we just have to basically ignore our champions and win with our units because all the champions are so expensive. But on the flip side, Lee Sin does play fantastically with all of the forge things we'll be generating. We'll never run out of spells with Lee Sin because we're generating so many of the things. And then you can get some big Lee Sin OTK combos if you find an Overwhelm thing. So if we get a Overwhelm equipment, if you're not familiar with the way it'll work, is if you have a flipped Lee Sin, he'll do the dragon kick onto our opponent's unit, so it takes damage equal to Lee Sin's power. Now that Lee Sin doesn't have a blocker in front of him, he'll do his normal damage with an Overwhelm attack. So if we can find a fish whack Overwhelm item or just pick up one naturally otherwise, Lee Sin has some nice combo potential here. And so I don't think it's going to be necessary here on this like 2-star quest that we're on. But if you're battling against, say, Galio or one of the higher level quests, this would be a actual pretty interesting addition to the deck. So on to the next one. We either have a healer down at the bottom or a slot bot to the right. Slot bot lets you purchase more rerolls. We're not going to need that here, so I'm going to move over to the left. Do battle with Ren, and so let's move on over. All right, so the foe's units have Nexus Strike. Create a Shadow Fiend in hand. You can't create the Shadow Fiends if you don't get a Nexus Strike. Big brain strategy right there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, off to battle. You dropping emotes? I'll cupcake you, bro. What do we got? We can't interact with this unit. I was going to say, if we just bank into the next turn, we can put the bonuses on the assistant librarian and get it off and running. And so we did get to, well, I guess opponent couldn't figure it out. What is this? Oh, you just got quick attacking Shadow Fiends, huh? Okay. I guess he couldn't figure out in the previous turn with the Shadow Apprentice that it could actually attack for damage. I guess the game kind of reads into the Shadow Apprentice having 0 attack and then being like, oh, I better not attack with that guy, and doesn't really understand that the Z ability is at play. So, yeah, I don't want to take these damages anymore. Alright, so, stop doing this, bro. I guess we finally got a block. I wanted to get these Weaponsmith's Apprentice down. I wanted to have 2 down for the next turn with the Combat Cook, but I guess if the dude's just gonna have a million Shadow Fiends, that... Phew. I guess we could have made a 5 health unit a little bit earlier, but... Whatevs, yo. It's tempting to just go ahead and slam in an attack. Eh. Alright, well I definitely want to be able to block here. So I'm gonna take the block ability thing for the Combat Cook. Or not the can't block. We didn't pick up the Shadow Shepherd's Hook, whatever it's called. One day I will be decent at remembering card names. I assure you. I'll add it to my kit of abilities one day. It's currently just not there though. I can't remember card names for shit. All right. Well, this round should be pretty close to done. In this matchup, it shows why I like that expensive equipment thing onto our Ornn. Right, we're on turn 6 now. The game is pretty much over. We had no opportunities to add Ornn, but we're still getting some value out of him. He's bringing some hits to our squad with that heal every turn for +5. And so it's not like we're just having a complete no-value champion in our deck. And then we did have to take some incidentals here, right? We could have cleaned this game up a little bit and maybe blocked a few Shadow Fiends a little bit earlier, but at the end of the day, we took some damage. Most of that damage is going to get cleaned up almost immediately. Right, sure, here's some dudes. All right, that should do it. I'm not gonna bother messing with the board here. We should be able to Sonic Wave for a win, even if he has a removal spell. Cool, got him.
I thank you, dragon.
So what do we got here? Anything interesting? What is this? That's interesting seeing the charging sigil on the Bellows Breath, right? The way that it's supposed to work is you forge an ally, it gains the health, you AoE, and then you forge it again and AoE again. But doing the 4 damage AoE, you're probably just going to kill everything. And so we'll let the Bellows Breath go. We don't really need any of these other cards, so let's just give it a reroll. Not the most exciting set, but the Favorite Artisan with the support ability is okay. The health potion actually isn't terrible. A 1-mana draw card health potion, but I think we'll just move beyond it. Head on down to the healer. Look to cut a card. Look to just take out something expensive. In the Ornn deck, I typically like to take out our ramp. If you don't have any combos for the Weirding Stones, right? There's some adventures where you're like getting bonus attack to your units and stuff, and Weirding Stones can be a little bit more useful. I guess it could be useful here if we have to play against more Blade Dances, but I typically hang onto the Catalyst of the Aeons first, just as a means to have a little bit of heal. So take the Weirding Stones out, move on to the Silent Shadow Seer. Oh, right. So when a unit dies, grant a random unit in that player's hand +1/+0. Got it. All right. Not as early game stuff as I would like. I'm not entirely certain what's in this Shadow Seer deck, but I assume it's going to be elusives. It probably can't do too much early blocking anyways, but we'll dig for something. Ornn, the early game answer we were looking for. No, he was not. He was not. All right, not so bad. We at least get to level up our librarian, get to having some stronger units on board.
A broken thing is a waiting thing.
So big, scaled snapper. All right, not bad. We're building up. All right, well, we'll make our good blocker. Give the librarian the focus boost. See if we can't shut down what's happening here. Never going to be big enough to block Ren, but take down the Keeper of Masks. All right, Lee Sin ready for action.
My lad, center your spear.
Oh man, that was that was a good use of support. I saw the little the little indicator just a moment too late. We missed out on a point of health, but I think we'll be okay. I think we're starting to manage. He does have all these Shadow Fiends, which I assume is going to give him a nasty block sooner rather than later. But I'm not afraid of it at the moment. Ew. All right, well, here's some of the downside to that lack of interactivity that our deck has. At least we can give our Lee Sin barrier. We can protect some of our smaller plays here. Maybe get some kind of shutdown on this attack. Oh man, I keep forgetting. It's like I know in my head to a degree all of his units shouldn't have 5 attack, but as soon as they come in, I just can't remember that +1 attack thing is here. It's okay though. We'll manage with Ornn. Man, we don't even have an Ornn equipment or an equipment for him. It's kind of annoying. He's ready to make that ram though. Maybe he's not. I take that back. I take that back. He is not ready. The performance is not going to happen right now. What is this flip? Bellows breath. Okay. Good. I'm not much of an Ornn user, and so some of his abilities are kind of forgotten on me. Right, we're ready for that dragon kick, though. Got our barriered Lee Sin. He's the one that's putting in the work this game. Ornn needs to take notes. So we can, like, drop a Bellows Breath. It'll pop these spell shields, not that big of a deal, but then kill some of our own units. I don't think I'm excited about that. Alright, so we get a barrier for Lee Sin. Block the weak ones. Protect our Ornn. See if we can't finally do something next turn. Oh no! Oh no! This guy had double strike. We're losing it, Daz. We're losing it. That's okay. We got another Lee Sin in hand, but that was a little on the sloppier end of things. So it is interesting, like, both of our dudes have tough. I think the Bellows Breath will be okay here. We need to pop the spell shield off of the dragon, Horns of the Dragon, if we want to get the dragon kick to land on it. So we can pop the spell shield there. Now we can bring in the Forge. That'll give our Lee Sin the barrier. It says we're lethal. We could have done this a little better, but I feel like it's going to be enough. Whew, we got there at the end. A little sloppy, but we got there.
Ionia endures.
All right, what do we got? Something cool? More favorite artisans? Okay. Well, I guess if we get to summon the extra copy, we get that extra time and dedication in hand. It's not the worst, not the most useless. Let's look for a little bit better items, though. None of these cards are something I'm, like, really amped about. Like, Sonic Wave generating items is kind of cool, but it's not quite enough to get me amped up. Bonus Assistant Librarians is good, though. The Ionia, or I mean, the Spell Shield isn't that strong against these Ionia people, but, you know, coming up against this round start stun the player's weakest unit, might find some usage out of those Spell Shields. Although, I don't think Spell Shield will stop that, right? It's not a skill ability, it's not a circle ability that goes out on the map. So, maybe it's not perfect, but it's okay. I don't ask for perfection out of my units. It's too much to ask, right? Can't ask for perfection.
Bring me tea to gain the strength of rivers.
Like, I don't think we need to get out in front of the Mentor. Let's just go with our big unit plays. We have this nice heal coming from our Ornn, and it feels good to be able to just take a little bit of this chip damage in the early game and not be afraid of the later battles.
You'll thank me later.
Alright, we're getting in our head now. These blocks are not safe, right? He's going to attack with his 1/1 Mentor. It's going to quickly become a 2-power Mentor. So let's go ahead and boost up our Assistant Librarian now. We've learned our lesson. I'm going to add in this cheap 1-drop just to throw in front of our opposing plays. Oh man, he got us stunned. I forgot all about that. I'm losing it. I'm losing it, fam. It would be cool if that spell shield would would protect us from the stun. I would appreciate that. Alright, no need to Resonating Strike at this point. We'll just take down the small unit. I don't really even want to... I think we should just switch to boosting up our Lee Sins now.
Now who's got the upper hand?
He's going to be a little slow here.
Beware the dragon spirit.
It's like, do we have to block this Blade Twirler? Let's be real. All right, I guess we're back onto the Librarian plan. It's got a better stat line. We can ideally play one of these smaller units and just hook in the Blade Twirler. Kind of sad. Kind of sad, man. I don't want to throw you away like this. Alright. Take the Blade Twirler down, get in one good attack. Might have to take a damage from the Conspirator. The game's done, but we're going to be taking some chip damage along the way. Again, I mean, I guess we can equip a Bone Club and hook in the Conspirator, but it's a little slow. There we go. There's a counter. Spell Shield finally did something. All right, I think we're good now. We should be able to end this one. We've fallen pretty low, fallen to 12. At least, like, Fiora isn't a particularly... she isn't a particularly damage-heavy encounter. It tends to come down to whether or not she can just come in and start doing OTK stuff on you. Which I don't think we have to worry about too much.
An iron will must be forged. Here comes my molten friend.
Here comes my molten friend. Get in there, Ram. Alright, still short of the lethal, but opponent doesn't have any cards at this point. We're getting pretty close to done.
Take a stance and hold it.
You don't wanna bring the swole squirrel into battle?
Kendall picked me. That's why I smith.
Hey, my corn kernel. I've been looking for that for centuries.
Hey, there we go. We got a bunch of cards on board now. This one's done, but this is again why I really like to carry this staff, whatever it is, Starchild staff on our Ornn. These games didn't go particularly poorly, right? We didn't make too many missteps. We didn't take a bunch of damage outside of what we couldn't interact with, right? We got hit by some elusives. He got wider than us and got some punches in, but we get a bit of recovery since we can't interact and we don't have a ton of early plays. Here, these cards are all pretty expensive. I could see an argument for picking up Scattered Pod since it gets cheaper, but I'm just going to re-roll these and look for something a little bit more effective in our deck. I think the Gruesome Theater is fine. I don't think you can recall a Fiora with this. I think she starts with 4 health, but it at least gives us like some kind of interactivity. It's better than none. On to the Scribe of Sorrows. I don't quite remember what this one is. Let me pull it up on the site real quick. It's just over on the ftpbus.com site. We'll head to the events. The little exclamation points are the events. Find the Scribe. Buy any number of powers. They cost double each time. I don't think there's anything special about the powers. Maybe there was. I don't quite remember. So I'm just going to go to the shop. We can definitely buy a power here if we want to. Bouncing Blades, not that great, unfortunately. I'm kind of interested in this health potion. Don't get me wrong, it's not super exciting, but delivering some of these items onto our big stat units isn't the worst thing we could be doing. Otherwise, Piltover Tellstones at -1 cost isn't terrible, and there is a whimsy for a bit of interactivity. I'm just going to go with these health potions, so we should be able to like sneak these in if we need to, and not be not be too worried about it. Here I'm going to take out Scales of the Dragon. It's just not super effective in our deck. It doesn't play to any of our themes. We're never going to like forge it. It's really just a unit we're putting on the board that generates a spell. But like if you're playing a more standard Lee Sin deck, you kind of need the generated spells to ensure you can get him leveled up and get him barriered and everything. But with us getting so many time and dedications and having all these favorite artisans and everything, I don't think we need any spell generation in here. So we'll get him taken out. On to Fiora. So when one of the foe's allies challenges an enemy, give the ally tough. I want my dudes to be tough. All right, Fiora. I think we're ready. These Fiora games typically come down to if you're able to kill her quickly, right? She has a 5/4 with the Phage, but we can just kind of like skip over a few combats here so she doesn't get to come down on board, and then let's try and Sonic Wave her next turn. It does put us in a spot to where she might get hit with a barrier, but I think this is okay. Let's let the combat happen. Add the Librarian. Make it a 4/4. Now as we go into the next turn, Fiora is going to shrink a little bit, and we can get a good Sonic Wave hook in. We'll wait and see if we need to do the Resonating Strike. It appears we do not. Okay, so now this is just like much better. Like, yes, opponents ahead on board. They're going to be able to punch in here, and we're going to take some damages, but Fiora is the big and problematic unit for us to be dealing with. Gonna want a Gruesome Theater. The mana still works out okay here. We can forge our dude. We can add our Ruthless Raider. And then Gruesome Theater something. It looks like that something is going to have to be Cythria, but not a bad turn otherwise. Only taking 2 damage. Our Librarian lives. Okay. Now, can we come in and take down the dragon with some of this? We can get the Assistant Librarian up to 5 attack. So that sounds good to me. Probably won't be doing any more attacking this turn, though. I mean, I guess realistically, we can just build up board a little bit more. Maybe that's the way to go about it, right? We'll just add the Favored Artisan. We'll add... That's kind of nasty. I wasn't planning on a combat this turn. Okay, but I was going to say we'll add the Artisan, we'll add the Poros. Oh. Oh, he challenged a Spell Shield unit. Okay, okay. That works. I think I still just want to go for width here, though. Right, we're at 7. I feel like as long as we get a little bit more time, then we're going to be completely okay, right? If we get an Ornn on board, or if we get a Bone Club onto something, we're going to be able to take over this game. Let's just don't die. This is the don't lose until you win strategy that we talk about in Constructed on occasion.
Strike while the iron is hot.
Rip Poro. Alright, I think we're good here, though. Let's go ahead and play the time, and we should probably just play all of our time and dedications, right?
I can hardly bear.
Sure.
Stories untold.
Alright, squad. Feeling good. Feeling good.
A broken thing is a waiting thing.
Alright, putting the confront down when you don't have an attack token, and bringing a Cataclysm in on our ephemeral unit. That's a strategy. That's a strategy, you know. It may not be the best strategy, but it's better than not having one at all. So, let's give dude Challenger. He's most certainly gonna get a hook in onto the Protege, and the rest of our people can attack. We've got the Resonating Strike in hand if we need to kick something down. Take down his Bladekeeper. This looks good. Alright. I think we've persevered.
So soon.
We did it. I believe in us. I don't think there's any just like ridiculous expensive cards in this guy's deck. Got our shitty no weapon Ornn. That always feels good. Okay, so Ornn will get to flip in this combat, right? We'll make a 10 power Assistant Librarian. Now let's make an effort to make sure the rest of our units don't die.
Hold while I smith.
Fighting is my first language.
Something like this.
Yes, good. He would approve, I think.
Now this is what good looks like.
This is what good looks like. You got it, my dude. I wonder what drawing a weapon looks like. we haven't been able to do that, that's for certain. Okay, so Fiora's down now. I feel like she's probably a little bit too late to the party. She gets a kill onto the dude, that's okay. Lee Sin's ready to dragon kick. Oh, you making emotes? I'm making emote. I know how to do that. There's a bone club. Finally.
No need to thank me. It's no trouble.
Alright, I feel like this should be enough. Put the dragon kick into Fiora. We're going to get a 14-14 ram. I think that's it. Neg 24 into 14. We did it. Get the fucking boot, Fiora. Get the boot. Talk a little shit as soon as that game ends.
I thank you, dragon.
Alright, so what do we got coming up? Ooh, this mana deposit is always strong. When I'm summoned, refill your mana equal to my cost. I'm leaning towards just picking up more Lee Sin's. He's just so much cheaper than Ornn, and he's going to be a lot more effective. We have a lot of ways to take advantage of him with the spell power things. I think we're going to be good. Here, when you summon an ally, give it a keyword. That's not the strongest, right? We don't have combos with it. It's not like we're playing Kaisa, but it's still a reasonably powerful card. All right, now, is this one where the path shortens up if you take on the vicious enemy? Looks like we would have to go to the power node, then like one... Oh, it only skips. This takes us, like, we can either take the spell chest or we can take on the Mage Seeker Insider. And the Mage Seeker Insider, I'm okay with this if we're in a, like, really aggressive deck. Like, if we're playing Annie or Darius or whoever that can really jump out in front of this and get a big advantage before they can cast a 6-cost spell. I don't think we can do that with our deck. We're going to be, like, going toe-to-toe with a bunch of, like, really expensive and powerful stuff. And I'm not quite willing to deal with that with our deck. If we had a different deck that wasn't kind of like counting on Lee Sin to be the big late game play, then sure. But I really don't want to take on this battle counting on Lee Sin shenanigans to get us through, especially when we don't have any ways to give him overwhelm and get like a really quick OTK. And so we're gonna tuck our tail between our legs, run past the vicious enemy, just head on to battle against Usari, which can be a fairly challenging battle, right? Round start, get the foe's strongest unit challenger, the weakest unit elusive. If they only have one unit on board, it gets both. And then they tend to have lots of evasive damage here that we have no answer to. Maybe we do hang on to Lee Sin. I think I'm on board. He's just like so good now that he's free.
One sprint for each crab I saw today.
All right, he's getting out in front of us. Little 5-piece nugget coming at us right at the beginning. A little scary.
If I were a magician, where would I go?
Heard you're new in the area.
Definitely getting wider than us. We're pretty lucky we have this -1 attack power, or we would be really struggling against a lot of this. If he like opened here, we would essentially be taking 2 more damage. We'd take 2 or 3 more damage on pretty much every attack each round.
I will tell you of Ornn.
Get to deploy 2 blockers off of this board, though. We should have played our time and dedication first. We got a little bit lucky with this, but... Oh, it's kind of fucked up.
Clumsy work.
So we'll put the bigger damage on our ephemeral. Not cool, dude. Alright, I'm going to go for the width on this turn. We can either play a 1 and a 3 or a 4, and we just need to get dudes on board at this point. So we'll add the Weaponsmith Apprentice. Gonna drop the Adept Weaponsmith. Pass out some stats. Tough was a good addition. Now, see what happens. We can maybe send something back with the Gruesome Theater.
Iron
So we get these blocks. I think we just have to accept that the Usari is going to kill our dude. We could Gruesome Theater the Usari away and protect our Ruthless Raider, but it's not that important here. And now the new question is, well, if we want to get Lee Sin going next turn, we'll still have extra mana. So I think this is fine. Right, we'll play Lee Sin and then just get the 5 mana right back. So we can get a challenge in.
My friend and I are toll collectors.
Where'd she go?
Leave now.
Wonder if it's even worth it though. We can get pretty far this turn by just say giving our Nimble Poro Challenger off of the Bone Club. Maybe this is the way to take it. So we can say like Lee Sin, kick an elusive. We can quick attack challenge down the Usari. He's gonna get another elusive next turn, fine. But as it stands, his weakest unit. No, his weakest unit won't be Shadow Assassin, it would be the Brigand.
The dark beckons.
But we got some of those problems off the board.
You'll soon understand my
Comes Ornn, ready to be useful. Says, I want to be useful, guys. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Fine, here. Let's get on with it.
Keep your head down.
And he picks up elusive. That's a pretty important random keyword for him to hit. It's pretty sweet. I appreciate the effort you're putting forth today, Ornn.
Sounds like we have a problem.
All right, so we should be pretty good from this point. I mean, we're definitely never losing this game. It's just a matter of can we close it out before we take any more damage? And that's going to be a little bit tougher to do. Pick up Overwhelm. I don't feel like we're getting a ton of value out of making scout attacks with a combat cook. All right, Sonic Wave makes sense. That's not the play I would have designed, but it's not that bad, I guess. How close is Lee Sin to flipping? We can get him to flip this turn, so let's throw all of our reforges onto him. I'm not quite ready to overwrite our landmark. I still want this this time and dedication every turn.
Come and get it!
So here's a challenger. Here's a challenger. One more. Oh, we can just challenge this whole board. I knew that. I planned it that way. Bring in an emote. It's appropriate.
You wanted the god of the forge, you got him!
Okay. So hopefully no more elusives from opponent. Just a Fey Guide. Alright, we're good.
temper the steel, strengthen the metal.
We are good. We can put the Overwhelm onto Lee Sin if you want to see the Dragon Kick. I don't think we'll be able to give him Challenger if you just want to see the thing in action.
Nothing shall move you.
Right, so he strikes for 12 into the unit, kicks it away, and then overwhelms for another 12. So we aren't doing, what is this, like 26 from Ornn. It's going to be, we're going to hit for like 80 this turn. I'm not going to bother with the mathematics, but this is going to be 24 damage coming from Lee Sin. Looked like 70. Hitting for 70 this round. Good job, guys. That's how you close the game out.
Ionia endures.
Okay, so do we want any of this stuff? I mean, not really, but we don't have any more rerolls. I'm just going to pick the cheap unit here. It does generate another spell, which we might get some usage out of, but not high-powered as much as I would like. And then here, another not awesome set of items. We don't have to take these. We can just leave. I'm a little bit interested in the Purify. I can't remember if there's another Elusives battle up before we get to Zed. But having a way to purify away or silence away elusive is something I'm kind of interested in. So we're going to pick those up. In terms of the powers, Trifarian Might, we still can't effectively use. I don't think we have a single unit that can naturally activate it. We don't. It's too bad. Any cards worth buying? Eye of the Dragon is pretty tempting. Just to generate those little dragonlings and give us a little bit more health buffer. And yeah, I think I can get behind that. The ephemeral copy summon isn't that great with her, but the dragonlings are kind of important, I think. Okay, the Swiftwing Flight. When the foe gets the attack token, they summon the Fleet Feather Tracker. Little bird. Not a queen bird, not a double bird. Just a little challenger bird, you know? All right, reasonable enough start. A little bit of interactivity if we need it. Lisa in for the raw power. See how this goes. It's a pretty sick combo. Opponent's got the Fleet Feather, or the Petricite Broadwing along with the +1 attack when you attack. Let's see what you're up to there, opponent. It's not very good, but I see what you're up to. Do we ever want to attack here? I doubt it. Let's be real. It's not a super strong attack. He just gets to block with the Broadwing and we lose our dude. Alright, well, let's make use of the silence. Oh, I assumed he hooked our Ruthless Raider with the Broadwing. Not the case. Alright, well, we'll prevent 2. Not the most exciting of turns, but feels like a necessity. And so what we're kind of running into now is a very common situation that we see in Constructed, to where it's like, okay, I'm playing the game of Runeterra, I want to make attacks, but we can't get wider than our opponent's board. Right, we can make an attack. We might even win some of the combats, but opponent's going to refill their board, and we can't add any more units to the board. And so I'm just going to attack with the ephemeral unit because it's going to die anyways. And now I'm just going to save up our mana for the next turn. No reason to just come out and waste these. Right, so he's at max board. If he wants to add more dudes, he's going to have to overwrite something. So we get a little bit more protection there. We shouldn't take any damage this turn. Alright, these go back. Is this a double bird? Unfortunate, but I'm gonna return it. And can we protect any of our dudes otherwise? I don't want to lose Eye of the Dragon. This is our important unit for the next turn. So let's purify the bird. And then I don't really care about the Daring Poro or the Artisan. All right. Let's see what we can do. I can tell you what we're about to do. It's load up this Dragonling with a bunch of time and dedications. he's going on the healer plan. We should probably just go ahead and flip Lee Sin this turn. All right, Lee. Hope you're ready for combat.
I am prepared.
All right. Gain us a little 10-piece nugget. That gives us a nice little buffer to get through the round. Opponent does still have a lot of value that they can be generating, right? They still have 5 cards in hand. The Vanguard's going to generate 2 units, but we've just gone a pretty long way in terms of protecting our health and protecting our board. Oh, and he doesn't pick and choose, so we just get to automatically take down the Lee Sin. Or we get to automatically take down the Swiftwing Flight. All right, 4, 4. Don't want to lose our Eye of the Dragons if we don't have to. Looks like we're going to be losing one regardless, though.
The dragon binds us.
Okay. All right, and we've already got our flow. You can see that on the little circle thing over here where the nexus is and our health. Once it has that yellow circle going around it, then you've got flow. So we'll be getting the Dragonly next turn.
Just follow the yellow light. Easy.
All right, so we'll boost the Librarian 1, boost the Dragonling with the other thing. Gonna hook in his best unit. And we got 2 attacks after that.
See what her notes say.
Nice. Back to full health. That's the way it should be.
There are storms in the ringing of steel.
All right, I've been messing this up the whole way. You gotta play some of these time and dedications before you actually put another unit on the board. I mean, we're gonna be fine. He's not gonna be able to get out of this, but it's still a little bit sloppy. Now we can't actually close out the turn. Oh, we can. The Librarian has elusive. So we'll get 8 from the Librarian, 7 from Lee Sin. Hitting for 15 now. And that's what they call victory.
Don't think I know that one.
Good job, Gas.
Ionia endures.
All right, so what do we think here? I don't want another Ornn's Forge. That's okay. Probably just want these additional gruesome theaters. It's not the strongest card, but it'll be okay. And we can either do an item chest or a champion chest. There's no real reason to stack Lee Sin's. I think he's strong enough as it is. So I'm going to go to the epic item chest up here. Maybe we'll get something good. And these are pretty good. I'm actually tempted just to pick up more health potions. Like, the refill the mana on the 1-drop's not a big deal. The capture on the Ruthless Raider is pretty fantastic. And typically the only way you lose these is if like Zed gets way out ahead of you. But I think I want to just meme a little bit with the health potion. I think that'll be that'll be enough to carry us as far as we need to go. Now let's cut out something expensive. Adept Weaponsmith, you're gone. And on to Zed. All right, so round end. If the player's Nexus took damage this round, the foe's strongest unit strikes it. Very fast way to get that Zed leveled up. And so as you're battling Zed, you gotta get your dudes down quick. The 4-drops don't cut it. I don't remember if Zed has items attached. We'll hang on to this gruesome theater, assuming he's just a 3/2. But Zed may. What is he? A 4/3? Okay, we can gruesome theater Zed. That's the big thing for this upcoming turn.
You wander off again.
opponent makes the same realization that they can't. Oh, it was our attack token. Let's see if they come to the realization that they can attack with their Shadow Apprentice. It's got 0 power. No attacks? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Just follow the yellow light. Easy.
Alright, so we will have to start dealing with Zed now, but he is much less intimidating, right? If we don't have to deal with only having 1 units in the face of 2 Zed attacks, right? If we only have 1 unit, he attacks with both. Gets 1 hit into the Nexus, and then with his hero power, gets the 2nd strike in with Zed. He flips, and then we have loads of problems. And so I think we should be good up to this point. Well, maybe not as good. little less good, one could say. I think the big thing here, though, is I guess depending on how he orders his units, we can take down the non-ephemeral Zed. So let's drop our time and dedication first. We gotta get that one sequenced right, or we're gonna mess this game up. Now we'll add the favored artisan to get 2 units on the board, and I think we can. Well, the Zeds should be gone before the damage comes through. So we still want to come in and block everything, but it's like he doesn't get any strikes with Zed, right? Because his Zed just dies. Ephemeral Zed dies. Ephemeral Zed dies. Now there's no Zeds left on the board to flip. So we should be nice and safe here now. Okay. There's that strike to the Nexus. I think we're good now. We got our Lee Sin going. We're going to start hooking his stuff, causing some problems. Ooh, Lee Sin picked up lifesteal as well. You a kitty? You want to hang out, bud? Nope. Sometimes a kitty likes to hang out. Sometimes he comes up here and meows. He's gonna start digging his claws into my leg as we play the game, and he'll make a decision here in 3 to 5 minutes if he actually wants to jump on my lap. All right, we should be pretty safe throughout this one, though. The Windfarer Hatchling, it's gonna get in for some damage, but our health total is pretty high now. Come on, bud. So what do we got? Grant your strongest ally in Epic. Let's see what turns up, you know? I'm curious. We went for the health potion for the memes. Did we get anything good? Elusive. That's not bad. That's useful here at least. Can we just win the game this turn? We can get 5 more damage out of hand. That would be up to 20 with the Librarian. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Gosh, come on, dude. Here's a cat. I swear, I'm not talking to myself when I say this stuff. We actually got a cat. It's this little dum-dum here. He likes to make his way to the internet every once in a while. Every once in a while he'll make an appearance. All right, game says we got neg 25 going into 22. Opponent doesn't have any interaction. GG, we got it. And so yeah, not a bad run. I think we got some pretty interesting usage out of the time and dedication generation every time. Lee Sin worked out pretty nicely with that. But again, we hit on a lot of the high points with Ornn. The interactivity is trash. That is a problem first and foremost throughout essentially every game that we play. And then there's just kind of like too much mid game and too much top end. And so we don't go for the typical strategy of stacking champions. We don't want a big stack of Lee Sins and Ornns. We look to pick up the cheaper plays and not focus so much on the champions. But a nice collection here. Lee Sin making up for his expensive cost with this refill the mana thing. That was nice. The time and dedications worked fantastically with Lee Sin as well. A nice combo generating a spell every turn. Last but not least, we got these assistant librarians. A nice addition with the time and dedication, and we got to take full advantage of the Ornn-based landmark every game. Pretty good stuff. So I had fun with this one. I hope you had fun with it too, because that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video, maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.